Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and we just got news that Darth Bane is coming into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. It dropped yesterday right as I was logging offline, so I was like, okay, I gotta do this reaction video and I will post it the next day. So we're gonna get into this, we're gonna read as much into the developer post as we can. I'm gonna highlight the things that I'm really excited for, highlight some of the areas that I'm kind of going into with caution. Again, we'll talk about all these things, guys. I think this is a fantastic step in the right direction for Galaxy of Heroes. We've been begging for this character for years and years and years. Finally getting Darth Bane. Let's get in here first and foremost, though, and thank my channel members so much for all of their continued support. Again, this shameless plug every single video. Link down below is a link to channel memberships. Otherwise, all I can ask you, hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you to my members who are on the council, even if you aren't yet granted the rank of master. It is much appreciated. Of course, gotta give a big thank you to those at the Wampa and Jedi Master tiers as well. You guys are all fantastic people except Button. You are the real MVP. Again, still getting that love for taking Night Sister Spirit and TIE Fighter Pilot to relegate for the guild. Thanks to all of you guys. I would not be able to do this without your support. Let's get in here, though, guys, and we've got to talk about Darth Bane. I'm going to go ahead, pop open the developer post here, and get my fat face out of the way. Move that up there. All right, so let's kind of read this post, and they say, all aboard the Bane train. A word from our lead designer on Darth Bane CG Mouse. Darth Bane is the next Conquest character coming to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and as lead designer on him, I'm thrilled to walk you through some of the highlights today. With his addition to the game, we really wanted to embrace the Sith philosophy of strength through force, which is demonstrated throughout the entirety of his kit, but especially apparent in both his leader, only the strong survive, and unique rule of two. Gosh, that is awesome. We knew that kit name was coming. Coupled with his Grand Arena Omicrons, Bane is capable of challenging SWGOH's heaviest hitters, including galactic legends. So, Darth Bane is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I am beyond excited that they named ability. We knew that they were going to name something Rule of Two. The big thing to note, he is the Conquest character. So, we're getting, again, another Conquest character after Gideon. So, we still have a while to go before Bane makes it into the game. With his leader, Bane can assemble a band of misfit Sith with sufficient relic investment and turn them into a competitive fighting force. So, that's a good sentence and that's a bad sentence, because a band of misfit Sith is awesome, right? Like that, okay, we'll get into what misfit Sith could be. But the with sufficient relic investment is like what is sufficient relic investment? We talking relic 3s there, or are we thinking relic 8s? Like, what are we talking about here, right? We talking about practice, or are we talking about a game? Hope you guys get that reference. This is a major utility point for Bane, as it will allow many Sith in the game to be potential options for his lineup. An exciting prospect for Sith heavy rosters and unsettling for your opponent. Additionally, with his unique, he can be paired alongside one other powerful Sith to fully embrace the iconic Rule of Two, with a lengthy list of buffs and immunities for both Bane and his ally. Well, I wonder who that could be, because Sith Eternal has a special call out within Bane's kit, and the duo are quite a force to be reckoned with. Watt leaves the chat. Oh, this is awesome, guys. So, Sith Eternal getting a lifter unit. Watt Tambor, kick to the curb, go sit on the bench with Admiral Trench. This is awesome. Gosh, like that, we've been waiting for Sith Eternal to get a lifter unit. It is one of the biggest reasons why he is a massive pile of dog crap. And the fact that Sith Eternal is going to get a lifter in Bane is amazing. I want to finish reading the post. We'll get into some thoughts then. Although Darth Bane has had multiple iterations and visions throughout Star Wars, we embraced his iconic look and appearance from the Clone Wars cartoon. It was a huge creative opportunity to make sure the power of the Sith of Legends lived up to his terrifying reputation, and it's our pleasure to bring him to you on the holotables. P.S. Before you ask, yes, the following Conquest character is light side. So, we've had a lot of dark side characters in Conquest. That's kind of what they're getting at. But let's talk a little bit here. Let's break down some of the really important parts of this post. So, as I said, Band of Misfit Sith with sufficient relic investment. So all of this sounds really good. What I'm curious about is, will his leadership have an Omicron ability? Because they said coupled with his Omicrons, Bane is capable of challenging, Galactic Legends, and that it's this Band of Misfit Sith, but then it talks about with his unique, he can be paired alongside one other powerful Sith to fully embrace the iconic rule of two. So right there, you're automatically placing him basically under that Sith Eternal lead, right? That's what's happening here, at least in my mind. With a lengthy list of buffs and immunities for Bane and his ally, and that Sith Eternal has that special call out. So again, Sith Eternal's lifter unit is finally here. He's finally going to reach levels that he never has before. So my curiosity here is, this Bane is capable of challenging SWGOH's heaviest hitters, including Galactic Legends. I guess what my take here is, are they saying that yes, both his leadership, this only the strong survive, and unique rule of two, or is it, one or the other, right? Like, I'm kind of curious how they're trying to word that there. Maybe he is meant to lead Sith Eternal for all we know. Like, that would be hilarious that they just completely scrap Sith Eternal's kit because he's dog. But yeah, so I'm curious to see that, because I'll tell you this. Bane is going to really upset things. Are we going to use him with Sith Eternal as the lifter unit? Are you going to make a separate Darth Bane team, knowing that your opponent has one more team they have to go use a Galactic Legend on? It's going to be very interesting to see. I think what I envision with this character personally, with the callouts to Sith Eternal, the whole Watt leaves the chat, my assumption is that this character is going to be similar to Maul and Lord Vader. Where Lord Vader is still a Galactic Legend, he's still tough to beat without Maul. But with Maul, it takes a far better team. That's kind of how I'm viewing this right now. I think that's what I'm going to use as my baseline, that Bane and Maul are going to be similar in that regard. You think Maul's a very good team, right? That Maul Mandalorians are a very solid team. Even before Imperial Super Commando, Gar Saxon, and like Dark Trooper Gideon, the Maul Mandalorian team was still very good. They had some really good mechanics. That's kind of how I see Darth Bane here, is a character similar to that. Maybe a step above Maul with his leadership. But we don't know yet, right? Again, we don't have his kit. We just have this information here. So I want to pop back over to the game, though. Enough time spent on the forums here. Let's pop over to the game. And what I want to do is I'm going to move my fat face back down here. Let's make sure. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, fat face is back down. All right, so let's get into the Sith here. Again, I'm so excited if you guys can't tell. So finally, a lifter for the pile of dog crap that is Sith Eternal. I shouldn't say I hate on Sith Eternal because he doesn't have a lifter unit. It's really just that he can't kill enough of the Galactic Legends anymore. He is just so it's very criminal what has been done to him. He is just beyond outdated. He's the only Galactic Legend that everybody else, something major has happened to make them significantly better than they were, and he's had minor touch-ups here and there, oh, we're going to make sure that Imperial troopers can't, destroy him anymore. That was literally the one thing they really added to him, was, yeah, Imperial troopers can't kill him. But they still can, you just have to land days. Anyway, so, like we said, the Sith Empire team, my biggest fear with Darth Bane is how we're using the toxic Leia team. That everybody's running Han and Chewie with Leia, even though her entire kit is calling out, hey, don't use these characters. Don't use these characters. We're still doing it because it's the best team. I am nervous that Darth Bane is going to be something similar to that, where you're going to end up running the most ridiculous Sith team just because you can. I think that could be a very real possibility. I don't know. Again, we don't know the kit, but going off the fact that he has a leadership, they're a band of misfit Sith. Oh yeah, my band of misfit Sith is Darth Malgus, Darth Revan, Darth Malak, and Bastila. I'm nervous as to how far they're going to ensure that this kit either excludes these characters or is yeah, you know what, you can make that team and it's actually stupid, But you've got your Sith Empire team here, just to show you guys that there's no duplicates. Then you have the Sith Triumvirate team. Again, I just threw the A version of this team down. I'm not tweaking, call this what it is, right? But then you kind of come into these 4 Sith down here as your leftovers. And just to show you that, those are the 4 that you really end up having left over. The rest of the Sith faction are characters that you don't really use as Sith. Lord Vader, Palpatine, Sith Trooper, and Darth Vader, they don't really fit into Sith teams that often. Darth Vader every now and then with like a Darth Traya team, but overall, you're not running him as a Sith. You're normally using him as an Empire character. So these are kind of your remaining Sith characters. So I could make, if I'm going to keep Sith Eternal with Wat Tambor, I can make another Sith team right here for Darth Bane. So I'd be very curious to see how that really does pan out. But this character also brings up another really cool spot. They said, hey, Wat Tambor leaves the chat. So am I finally going to end up gearing up Admiral Trench? And I know I said, put Trench, Wat on the bench with Trench, but Admiral Trench is a team that I think is capable of at least punching up to some things, even if it's just something that my opponent has to beat on defense. That's fine with me. The big thing here, though, is that, how will we use Wat Tambor moving forward? And if Wat Tambor loses value because, hey, Darth Bane's significantly better, will guilds stop building Geonosians? So there's definitely some things here that I'm reading it, trying to read into as much as I can, and I could really see that being a big possibility. So what is my hope for Darth Bane coming into Sith Eternal? If they're meant to be a duo, if they're meant to be this, duo that's just going to take Galaxy of Heroes by storm. Here's the things I think they need to keep in mind with Darth Bane. So the first thing I'd want to say, he's going to have Omicrons. So he's going to be significantly better in Grand Arena than he is every other game mode. Think of Ben Solo and Rey. So I think Ben Solo and Maul are kind of my 2 baseline characters, where Ben Solo has specific callouts to Galactic Legends Rey, but he doesn't have a leadership. So he kind of always goes with her. Whereas Maul doesn't have specific callouts to Lord Vader, but you kind of need him, right? And that's kind of, I'm using those 2 as my baselines to say that that's kind of the combination of those 2 characters is where I'm ending up on with Bane. But it is kind of nerve-wracking because they said, this band of misfit Sith. Again, what does that look like? And I think if you're a player who you're like, man, am I going to be even able to unlock this character? That's the other side of me that's kind of nervous, is if this character is as groundbreaking to Sith Eternal as it sounds, and it's gated by that conquest, it's gated by that paywall, could definitely hurt this game. My friend brought up a really good point. My friend here brought up a really good point. He's like, Bane feels a lot more like a journey guide character, and I would wholeheartedly agree with that. I think that he should be a journey guide. I think that Conquest is a great way to release characters for players like myself, but I think a lot of players are going to miss out on the opportunity to wail on a character because they go through Conquest instead of going through the marquee packs and letting those who want to spend the money. So all that said, guys, I am really excited, but I'm nervous. I don't know how this character is going to truly impact the game. They said a lot of nice things, but they said Leia wasn't going to be good on defense, and look what that did. So whether you're thinking these are my band of misfit Sith, I can't tell you guys because we didn't get the kit reveal, we didn't get the callouts or anything. The other thing I will say too is I think what you will see is how this character is going to be utilized, I think, in significantly different ways in, say, Kyber 1 comparative to an Erodium or Chromium, because I have a feeling that in Kyber 1, players are going to value having another team that can compete or handle Galactic Legends and still use Sith Eternal the way that he is being used currently. So unless Bane with Sith Eternal is capable of beating Leia and Jabba and Lord Vader and even Kenobi, I don't know that players will end up using him as a lifter unit in Kyber 1. That's just my personal opinion. So I'm excited because I think this character's got to be really good for them to feel that he could lift Sith Eternal. Because if it's just going to be, the same Sith Eternal performances we're getting, he just takes the place of Wat, why am I going to do that when I can use a Darth Bane team? So you guys let me know your thoughts down below. Like, subscribe, comment. I love all you. May the Force be with you, and I will catch you all in the next video. Cheers.